Welcome back to our channel Hidden Coins World. If you are a coin collector, watch video carefully. I will tell you about coins that make you a millionaire overnight. Top 1. Today, we're diving into a story that combines American history, art, and pure treasure. Imagine holding in your hand a simple United States of America $quarter from 1974, a coin that millions of people once spent without a second thought. But what if I told you that one of these very coins, a 1974 Washington quarter, is now worth an unbelievable $46 million? Sounds impossible? Well, get ready, because this story is about how one ordinary-looking coin turned into an extraordinary legend. Let's begin the journey. The year was 1974, America was in a time of change. The nation had just witnessed the end of the Vietnam War, and the world was shifting toward a new era of technology and design. Meanwhile, in the United States Mint, something fascinating was happening. The minting of coins was an art form, each coin a reflection of the country's pride and identity. Among these coins was the Washington quarter, first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. By 1974, this coin had already become a familiar face in the pockets of millions of Americans. On the obverse, or front side, stood the strong and noble profile of George Washington, his face turned slightly left, symbolizing leadership, determination, and freedom. Beneath his chin, the word, "In God We Trust," and above his head, the bold word, "Liberty." On the reverse, the mighty bald eagle spread its wings, clutching arrows and olive branches, a perfect blend of strength and peace. This design, created by sculptor John Flanagan, was more than just a picture. It was a symbol of the nation's values and resilience. Now, 1974 was a particularly interesting year for U.S. coinage. The Mint was in the middle of planning major changes for 1975 and 1976 to celebrate America's bicentennial, the 200th anniversary of independence. Special commemorative coins with dual dates 1776 to 1976 were on the horizon. But before those coins went into mass production, the Mint had to strike millions of regular 1974 quarters for circulation. These coins were minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, marked with a small d; and San Francisco, marked S for proof coins. Most of these 1974 quarters were made from a copper-nickel-clad composition, a copper core sandwiched between layers of nickel, giving the coin a shiny, silvery look. They weighed 5.67 grams and measured 24.3 millimeters in diameter. In total, hundreds of millions of them were produced, making the 1974 quarter a common coin at the time. So how did one of these ordinary quarters become a $46 million treasure? Here's where the story takes a fascinating twist. According to coin historians and collectors, a tiny batch of 1974 Washington quarters was struck on experimental planchets, test metal blanks that were never meant for public release. The U.S. Mint, while preparing for the bicentennial coin program, was testing different materials for future coins. Some of these experimental quarters were accidentally struck using silver planchets, the same metal used before 1965, or other unique compositions not intended for circulation. These error coins were not recorded officially. They were supposed to be destroyed. But somehow, through a combination of human error and pure luck, a few of them escaped into circulation. For years, they went unnoticed, passing from hand to hand, used for gum, coffee, and parking meters. Until one day, a sharp-eyed collector noticed something unusual: the coin had a slightly different color, a richer, brighter shine. Its edge lacked the usual copper-colored stripes seen on modern quarters. Curious, the collector weighed it. Instead of 5.67 grams, it weighed 6.25 grams, exactly the weight of a pre-1965 silver quarter. This was not normal. After testing, it was confirmed. This was a 1974 Washington quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet, a minting error of incredible rarity. Experts estimated that only a handful of these coins exist in the world. Collectors call it the phantom silver quarter. As word spread across the numismatic world, auction houses began to receive offers for this mysterious coin. In a stunning turn of events, one pristine specimen of the 1974 silver quarter, perfectly preserved in near-mint condition, was sold at an exclusive private auction for an astonishing $46 million. That's right, the price of a coin that once bought a gumball now equals the value of a luxury mansion, a fleet of sports cars, and a lifetime of dreams. Why is this coin so valuable? It's not just because of its rarity, though that plays a big role. It's the story it tells, the history it carries. Each coin is a time capsule, a silent witness to the events of its year. The 1974 quarter represents the bridge between two eras of American coinage, the end of the traditional design and the beginning of the bicentennial celebration. Moreover, collectors place immense value on errors, especially when they involve precious metals. A silver planchet used years after silver coins were discontinued makes this piece a historic accident, one that will never happen again, but the value also lies in condition. The $46 million example was graded MS-68 by the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, meaning it was nearly flawless, with its original mint luster intact, no scratches, and perfect strike details. Such perfection combined with such rarity created the ultimate collector's dream. Let's take a step back and look at the artistic beauty of this coin. John Flanagan portrait of George Washington remains one of the most iconic images in American coinage. The fine details in Washington's hair, the sharpness of his jawline, and the balance of the lettering all reflect classic craftsmanship. On the reverse, the eagle, symbolizing courage and vigilance, spreads its wings proudly. Even though millions of these coins were struck, the design still commands respect and admiration. For collectors, every coin tells a different story. Some 1974 quarters might have small minting differences, known as die varieties, such as doubled letters, weak strikes, or die cracks. These small imperfections make certain coins more desirable. But the silver-struck 1974 quarter stands above all others, a true legend in numismatic history. So how can you tell if your 1974 quarter might be special? First, check the edge. A normal 1974 quarter will show a copper-colored band along its rim, that's the exposed copper core. But if your coin's edge is completely silver and lacks that copper line, you might have something extraordinary. Second, weigh it. If it weighs around 6.25 grams instead of 5.67, it could be struck on a silver planchet. Third, listen to the sound. Silver coins make a distinctive high-pitched ring when dropped on a hard surface, unlike the dull sound of copper-nickel coins. Of course, if you suspect you have one, never clean it and always get it authenticated by a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. One small cleaning mark can drop the value by thousands, even millions, of dollars. Top 2. Today, we're diving deep into the story of this extraordinary coin, a journey through its design, its history, its minting secrets, and how one ordinary-looking 1987 quarter could shock the world with a mind-blowing value of $34 million. Imagine holding a small silver-colored coin that once jingled in someone's pocket during the Reagan era. Maybe it paid for a cup of coffee, a phone call, or even a song on a jukebox. Yet now, that same piece of metal has become worth more than a mansion, more than a fleet of luxury cars, more than most people could earn in a lifetime. How did this happen? Let's find out. The story of the 1987 quarter begins with the legacy of George Washington himself. Ever since 1932, the Washington quarter has been one of America's most iconic coins, representing not just currency but patriotism, leadership, and national pride. Designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of Washington's birth, this coin continued to carry his image for decades, evolving through different minting technologies and slight design refinements, yet always staying true to the spirit of the founding father. By 1987, America was in the midst of economic recovery, technology was advancing rapidly, and the U.S. Mint was producing coins with exceptional precision. The quarter dollar of that year was part of this legacy, a copper-nickel-clad coin, weighing 5.67 grams, and measuring 24.26 millimeters in diameter. It carried the familiar bust of George Washington on the obverse, facing left, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. The word "Liberty" proudly arched above Washington's head, while beneath it read the national motto, "In God We Trust." Below his profile sat the year, 1987, marking its place in time. The reverse side showcased the majestic bald eagle, wings spread wide in strength and freedom, clutching arrows of defense and an olive branch of peace, a symbol that balanced the might and grace of a nation. Above it, the inscription, United States of America, and just below, E pluribus unum, meaning, out of many, one. At the bottom, $quarter, identifying its value. It was a design steeped in American tradition and dignity, but what makes the 1987 quarter truly special lies far beyond its design. To understand its uniqueness, we must look at how it was minted. In 1987, something unusual happened. The U.S. Mint did not produce any quarters for circulation in the general economy. Instead, quarters were struck only for collector sets known as mint sets and proof sets. That means every 1987 quarter was originally intended for collectors, not for pocket change. Because of this, genuine 1987 quarters are already somewhat uncommon to find in circulation. They were made in the Philadelphia Mint, marked with a P, and the Denver Mint, marked with a D, while special proof versions came from the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S. The total mintage was significantly lower than many other years. Philadelphia produced around 582 million, Denver around 655 million, and San Francisco only a few million proofs. While that may sound like a lot, compared to other years where billions were made, the 1987 issue stands out for its limited presence in everyday circulation. However, what truly elevates certain 1987 quarters into the stratosphere of value is not just their mintage, it's their rarity and condition, minting errors, and historical quirks. Some of these coins were struck using misaligned dies, double strikes, or off-center errors that make them one of a kind. A few were mistakenly struck on planchets meant for other coins, such as dimes or nickels, creating ultra-rare hybrids that collectors crave. Over the decades, collectors began to realize how few flawless examples of the 1987 quarter existed. While most coins were stored in sets, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine, untouched condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. A quarter with no scratches, perfect luster, and sharp details, graded as MS 70, mint state 70, can be worth a fortune, but the coin that stunned the world was not just any 1987 quarter, it was a minting anomaly, a coin that somehow possessed characteristics never before seen. Reports suggest that a 1987 P quarter was discovered with an unusual metallic composition, appearing to be struck on a silver planchet rather than the usual copper-nickel clad. This discovery sent shockwaves through the numismatic community. A modern quarter made of silver in 1987? That was unheard of. Experts confirmed through tests that this particular coin was indeed struck on a silver planchet, possibly due to a leftover blank from an earlier production run accidentally being fed into the minting press. Only one such specimen is believed to exist. This miraculous minting error transformed the coin from a 25-cent piece into a treasure worth millions. Collectors and investors around the globe began to bid on this coin, pushing its value into the stratosphere. The final sale price? A staggering $34 million. Yes, $34 million for a quarter that, at first glance, looks just like any other. But its composition, condition, and rarity make it one of the most valuable coins in the world. To put that into perspective, that's more than the cost of a private jet or an oceanfront mansion in Malibu. It's more than many world-famous paintings have sold for at auction. All for a coin most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. What makes this story even more magical is that such coins could still be out there, hidden in old collections, coin jars, or family keepsakes. Many people have no idea they might own something so valuable. A small difference in weight, color, or edge design could be the clue to discovering a life-changing fortune. Even aside from the $34 million specimen, regular 1,987 quarters in top uncirculated condition can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Proof versions, especially those graded PR 70, command strong demand. Error coins, such as double die strikes or off-center designs, are worth even more depending on the rarity and visibility of the mistake. For coin enthusiasts, the 1987 quarter represents more than just a collectible, it's a symbol of the thrill of discovery. Every coin tells a story, and every collector dreams of finding that one extraordinary piece that rewrites history. The idea that a small, everyday object can hold such immense value is part of what makes numismatics so endlessly fascinating. Imagine the journey of that rare 1987 quarter. From the mint press in Philadelphia to perhaps a mint set collector's box, then hidden away for decades, only to resurface under a magnifying glass of a sharp-eyed expert. The gleam of its silver surface, the crispness of its strike, the perfection of its details, all whispering of a secret that time almost forgot. It's stories like these that keep the world of coins alive. Every year, collectors eagerly examine their change, hoping to stumble upon a rare gem. The 1987 quarter reminds us that history isn't just found in museums, it's sometimes sitting right in your palm, disguised as ordinary money. As time passes, the 1987 quarter's legacy continues to grow. New generations of collectors learn about it, discuss it in forums, and chase after it in auctions. The coin has become a legend in the hobby, proof that even modern issues can achieve mythical status under the right circumstances. Top 3, the 1979 United States quarter dollar. It's a coin that most people have seen, held, or spent without a second thought, but few realize that within this everyday piece of change lies one of the most intriguing tales in numismatic history. A simple 25-cent coin that, in certain rare conditions, has captured the attention of collectors around the world and is now valued at an incredible $41 million. So, let's take a journey back in time to the late 1970s, a period of change and modernization in America. It was a time when the U.S. Mint was adjusting to new technologies and trying to perfect the art of coin production. The 1979 quarter was part of this era, an ordinary coin that ended up becoming extraordinary. When the 1979 Washington quarter rolled out of the mint, it wasn't meant to be anything special. It was part of the long-running Washington quarter series that had been introduced back in 1932 to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design had already become iconic, the bold and dignified profile of the nation's first president facing left, his image inspired by the sculptor John Flanagan classic portrait. On the reverse, the majestic bald eagle, wings spread wide, clutching arrows and olive branches, a timeless symbol of strength and peace. At first glance, the 1979 quarter looks like any other. It's composed of a copper nickel clad over a pure copper core, giving it that familiar silvery sheen. It weighs just 5.67 grams and measures 24.3 millimeters in diameter, small, light, and unassuming. But as collectors know, it's often the smallest details that can transform an everyday coin into a treasure worth millions. Now, 1979 was an interesting year for the mint. It was producing coins at several facilities across the country: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Each mint had its own mark: no mint mark for Philadelphia, D for Denver, and an S for San Francisco. And while the design remained consistent, the production quality and characteristics varied slightly from mint to mint. The San Francisco Mint, for instance, was primarily known for producing proof coins, high-quality coins made with mirror-like finishes and extra detail for collectors. These proof quarters were struck with special dies, often multiple times, to bring out every sharp line and highlight. The results were coins so beautiful they seemed almost unreal, like miniature sculptures in metal. But what makes the 1979 quarter truly fascinating is not just its production, it's the unexpected errors, the rare varieties, and the remarkable stories that have surrounded it ever since. Some of these quarters left the mint with unique mistakes, tiny differences that turned them into priceless anomalies. Imagine a coin struck slightly off-center, or one with a doubled die where the letters or numbers appear shadowed or doubled under magnification. To most people, such an imperfection would go unnoticed. But to collectors, that small difference means everything. It's what separates a 25-cent coin from a multimillion-dollar masterpiece. Among these, the rarest and most valuable 1979 quarter ever discovered has a story worthy of legend. This particular coin came from a special experimental strike, a test run made by the mint to try out a different metal composition and striking pressure. Only a handful of such test pieces were ever made, and most were supposed to be destroyed. But somehow, one escaped. Years later, that coin surfaced in a private collection, in pristine, almost untouched condition. It was verified by professional grading experts and classified as one of the finest known examples of a 1979 quarter, a perfect blend of rarity, mystery, and minting perfection. The moment collectors heard of its discovery, the coin world was electrified. Offers poured in from all over the globe. Auction houses competed for the rights to display it. When it finally went under the hammer, the bidding was fierce, escalating rapidly as numismatic enthusiasts and wealthy investors fought for ownership. The final price? A jaw-dropping $41 million. That's right, a single 25-cent coin, worth just $0.25, sold for more than the price of luxury estates, yachts, and private jets. To understand why this coin reached such astronomical value, we have to look beyond its material worth. The true magic of this coin lies in its story, its rarity, and the emotions it stirs among collectors. Coin collecting, or numismatics, isn't just about metal. It's about history captured in your hand. Every coin is a silent witness to the time it was made, the politics, the economy, the people, the craftsmanship. And the 1979 quarter, though modern in design, embodies all of that and more. In the late 1970s, America was experiencing both technological progress and inflationary pressure. The quarter was one of the most used denominations in circulation, essential for vending machines, parking meters, and everyday commerce. It was a workhorse of the economy, not a luxury item. Yet, within that commonality, there was beauty, the elegance of the engraving, the precision of the minting, and the symbolism of national pride. George Washington's face on the obverse serves as a reminder of leadership and independence, ideals the country was built upon. The eagle on the reverse, clutching both arrows and olive branches, represents strength balanced by peace, a duality that defines the American spirit. Now imagine finding one of these coins, perhaps in an old box of change or tucked away in a family heirloom. You hold it up to the light, turning it slowly, noticing something unusual, a slight doubling of the date, a faint error in the lettering, or a gleaming proof-like surface unlike any regular coin. Could it be one of the rare specimens worth a fortune? That's the thrill that drives collectors, the possibility that an unimaginable treasure might be hiding in plain sight, and this isn't just fantasy. Over the years, people have actually stumbled upon rare coins without realizing their true value. A 1979 quarter discovered at a garage sale once sold for several $1,000s. Another one, featuring a rare mint error, fetched over $10,000 at auction. But the one that broke all records, the $41 million quarter, stands as a symbol of how a small piece of history can turn into a life-changing discovery. Experts have studied this extraordinary coin in detail. Its surfaces are flawless, its strike is razor-sharp, and its luster, that brilliant shine, remains untouched by time. It's believed that the coin was part of a special proof run at the San Francisco Mint that was never meant to enter circulation. Some even speculate that it may have been a presentation piece intended for testing new minting techniques or materials. Whatever the case, it has now become a crown jewel in the world of numismatics. Collectors often say that coins like this represent perfection, not just in physical condition, but in historical importance. Each mint mark, each line of detail, tells a story. The 1979 quarter is a bridge between the old and new eras of American coinage. It connects the classical artistry of early 20th century designs with the technological precision of modern minting, and that is why, today, the rarest 1979 quarter, the one-of-a-kind specimen that survived the odds, remained untouched and captivated the numismatic world, stands as one of the most valuable coins ever struck. A coin once worth 25 cents, now worth an unbelievable $41 million. So, the next time you check your spare change or open that old coin jar, remember this story. Because somewhere out there, another hidden treasure might be waiting, a small piece of metal with a big story, ready to change someone's life forever.